through Scholastic. That's how those things sold. Anyway, Michael once told me, he said, he was a very quotable guy, and he said, a professional writer ought to be able to write anything from the Bible to a seed catalog. Now, that's hyperbole. Obviously, we're not going to be taking a crack at the Bible. That's been done. But I think anytime an opportunity presents itself to a writer, if it's interesting to you at all, you ought to take it. Now, I've been blessed enough to make money as a writer, to make my living as a writer since 1979. And that's because I've done a lot of that. And I've been lucky enough to do stuff. Bill, you know this. The more fun you have with something, generally the less money you make.
Sometimes, yes. But it's more fun.
That's right. And so you try and find that balance between fun and money.
Now, everything you've just said kind of flies in the face of what a lot of people hear today from their agents or whoever, saying that, you need to pick a genre and stick with it and only write that, because that's branding. And if you dare to do something different, then you've got to use a pseudonym or something like that. How do you feel about that?
That's funny you should mention branding, because my son, who is involved, one of the people behind a board game business called Team Covenant, he talks a lot about branding, and he wants to work on branding me online. And how he wants to brand me is as your guide to old school thrills. That's the branding he wants to do with me.
That's kind of smart, actually.
Yeah, so that takes in novels, and that takes in the nonfiction stuff I do, like the Forgotten Horrors books and the others. That's old school thrills. It takes in my TV shows that I do, my radio show. All of those things have to do with old school thrills. And so I think it kind of covers the waterfront there.
Well, yeah, and it's cross-genre or trans-genre or whatever, because that's what people normally think of when they think of branding.
Well, I had a friend of mine, and you remember Mike McQuay, I know, a wonderful science fiction writer, one of my best friends ever, who died way too early. He told me, he told me one time, he said, if you wanted to write just for Fangoria, which I did over 100 pieces for the Fangoria, the horror magazine. He said, if you wanted to write just for Fangoria, you could be the best Fangoria writer. If you wanted to write novels, you could be, but she says, you try and do a little bit of everything. And maybe my career, such as it is, would have gotten farther if I did just one of those things, like you said, or perhaps it wouldn't have. I do know that I've been blessed and happy with what I've been able to do because I've had fun with it. And that's pretty important.
We live in a world right now, the book publishing world that is going through tumultuous changes. How are you dealing with that?
Well, basically by having you publish my next book.
Yeah. The Cleansing, if we haven't said that yet.
The Cleansing.
That's a fantastic book.
Thank you. That's old school.
You adapt though. You have to. You find a way to do the projects you want and get it out there.
You have to do that. And generally, I have very much resisted self-publishing, because I'm, again, old school, and self-publishing to me meant vanity presses back in the day. It doesn't anymore. I understand.
Sadly, we still have vanity presses, but that's not self-publishing.
No, it's not. But there's still a little bit for those of us. I mean, I'm almost 70 now. And to those of us who've been around for a while, there's a kind of a stigma attached to that. So I haven't really done anything like that, but we've kind of gotten around it I did a book called Hardboiled Christmas Stories, which was a pulp collection. And we got around that by starting our own publishing house that specialized in reprinting old pulp stories. So, so you find ways to adapt. Of course you have to. You have to. We all have. Anybody working has to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being part of this podcast.
Bill, it's great. I appreciate you asking me.
Thank you again, John, for sharing all your wisdom with us. If you would like to hear more from John Wooley or me or one of 40 other presenters, let me urge you to come this year to WriterCon, our annual writers conference in Oklahoma City over Labor Day weekend. It is not too late to register and learn about writing and publishing and marketing from all those presenters, to talk one-on-one with many agents who will be in attendance, to enter contests, to participate in other activities. It is going to be a wild, action-packed 3 days. Do yourself a favor and go visit our website and register. It's writercon.org. That's WRITERCON.org. And I also have to mention that my new novel, Court of Killers, is out on Amazon, available for pre-order. The release date is July 23rd, but you can order it now, and please do. It is the second book in the Daniel Pike series, and I'm a little prejudiced, but I think it turned out really well. I'm very pleased. I think it's got a good story, some slam-bang courtroom action, and an ending that may surprise, if not shock you. So please check out Court of Killers. In the meantime, keep writing. And remember, you cannot fail if you refuse to quit.